You either love hard seltzer or you know somebody that does. And while buying a pack is certainly easy, doesn't mean that making your own seltzer at home has to be hard. In fact, thanks to some recent innovations, it's never been easier to make professional level hard seltzer at home. Not only that, but by brewing your own, you are given full creativity to do any flavor you want and tweak it to any sweetness level. Essentially making your own perfect White Claw or high noon. Whether you got an upcoming event or just looking for something easy to drink during football games, today I'm going to show you how to make this dead simple, bubbly party pleaser. The key to a perfect hard seltzer is a clean base. The base is made up of three main parts: water, sugar, and yeast. But your choices for these can greatly impact how clean and flavorless of a final product you'll get. And flavorless is the goal. We want the added flavors we pick later to shine. So let's start with water. Considering seltzers are just about 100% water, the choice here is key. It should of course taste good, but it also must be free of chemicals. I've said it before and I'll say it again, most US tap water is treated with chloramine, which helps disinfect the water, but it can also lead to some off flavors when fermentation starts. Things like Band-Aid flavors or plastic, or even a smoky burnt flavor. Additionally, there can be other chemicals that can slow yeast growth. So my recommendation is to use filtered water, whether that's an RO filter, a Brita filter, or my preferred method, one of those water fill-up stations at every grocery store. I'm making a 5.5 gallon batch, so I picked up 6 gallons of water. We might lose about a half gallon during fermentation, or if I spill some. I got my water from the store and then added it to my fermenter of choice. This can be as simple as a fermenter bucket that you make from Home Depot supplies, or something more fancy, like this stainless fermenter. It really does not matter. You'll make amazing seltzer no matter what. Next, sugar, the great boogeyman of fermentation. But yeast needs to consume sugar to create alcohol. Unfortunately, there's no way around it. But you can use sugar as a lever to adjust alcohol content. The more you add, the higher ABV, or alcohol by volume, it'll be. And also, sugar is highly fermentable, which means the yeast should consume just about all the sugars, leaving you with a technically sugar-free final product. It's a bit of a misleading term if you ask me, but that's how the big seltzer brands are marketing it. So why can't we? You can just use cane sugar, but my preferred option is corn sugar. It's a little more fine and it more easily dissolves into water. Otherwise, you might want to heat up the water before adding sugar to get it to mix in fully. Other sugar options are maple, agave, honey, brown sugar, turbinado, and more. Get crazy with it, but just remember, if you want the cleanest base, plain white sugar is best. I picked up some corn sugar from my local homebrew store. I'm using 5 pounds total and adding it straight into the fermenter. The beauty of this type of sugar is that it melts at room temp water with very little mixing.
Wow.
5 pounds of sugar into 6 pounds of water should give me an original gravity of about 1.036. This number can be used to help predict the alcohol content, which means this one should end up around 5%. And lastly, the yeast. I've made dozens and dozens of seltzers at this point, and I've tried lots of yeast to find the best one, but there's no beating the king of flexibility, Lutra Kveik, or Kveik. Not only does this yeast ferment extremely clean, but it can ferment up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, making it usable for nearly any situation for anyone in the world, as long as you can get your hands on it. Thankfully, it's pretty popular and easy to find at homebrew stores or online shops like the Zon. I'll leave a link in the description to my favorite one. So I just ripped the pack and I dumped it in. An optional but highly recommended ingredient is yeast nutrient. You can think of this like vitamins for yeast. They just help the yeast stay healthy and process the sugar cleanly during fermentation. It's not often needed for beer fermentations since there's a lot of nutrients in grains, but for something like this sugar wash, there's almost no nutritional value. I use Fermento, which is an organic yeast nutrient. A teaspoon or so is all you need. And that's it. Close it up, add an airlock, and put it wherever you got space. It now just needs to ferment for about a week. But just keep an eye on that airlock until it completely stops bubbling, which will let you know it's time for the next step. This is where the fun begins. I've shown in the past how you can make flavored seltzers with common grocery ingredients, but often you really have to tweak and test it in order to nail the flavor. But one company has been working to make the process simpler and more consistent than ever, all while tasting amazing. And that company, Kegland, just so happens to be the sponsor of this video. This is Kegland's Ready to Keg product line. And as the name suggests, with these kits you can go from plain alcohol to a variety of flavors as simple as 1, 2, 3. First you add the flavor of choice, which they have many, from hard lemonade to various seltzer flavors like peach, pineapple, mango, to something more unique like ginger beer, and even cocktail mixes like gin and tonic or Coke and rum. Then you add a sweetener pouch, depending on your preferred level of sweetness. And lastly, you add a yeast inhibitor to make sure the added sugars don't restart fermentation. The beauty of these kits is technically you don't even need to ferment your own seltzer. You can just start with a clean alcohol base, like vodka, diluted down to about 5%, making home hard seltzers even easier. Kegland has been a continued partner of TheBruSho, and I'm always impressed and excited with their innovations in the homebrewing space. So if you're looking for an easy way to make seltzers, or just need some homebrew gear, be sure to check them out. And if you live in the US, check out morebeer.com for exclusive access to Kegland products in the States. Thank you both to Kegland and Morebeer for the partnership. Now let's put it to work. I decided to make a peach flavored seltzer for this batch. To start, I transferred the fully fermented base seltzer into a sanitized keg. If you don't have a keg, you could totally mix this up in like a bucket or in your fermenter, and then use something like a soda stream or a carbonation cap and a CO2 tank to do individual bottles. But since I have the ability to keg, I'm gonna use that. I then added in 4 peach flavor shot packs. I followed that up with 2 sugar-free sweetener blend sachets. If you wanted this less sweet, you could add less. If you wanted it more, you can always add more. And lastly, I added 2 firm stop packets. Closed up the keg and applied 30 psi of pressure. And after 3 to 4 days, it was fully carbonated and ready to drink. And here she is. Take a look at that. Beautifully clear. You can see me right through it. This turned out amazing. I can confidently say this is the best seltzer I've ever made. And this is as close as I've ever gotten to anything quite like the quality you get in like a WHITECLAW can or you find at a brewery. It is just perfection. Obviously, as you can see, it's nice and clear and it's hard to tell, but it is quite bubbly. I set the keg to 30 psi, which can make it kind of hard sometimes for things like beer or seltzers because it can really foam up. But I actually have the Kegland flow control ball lock, which works perfectly for this and really gives you a nice pour. But let's give it a taste and see how it turned out. Oh man, I mean, that is just so refreshing and so easy to drink. I love how you can kind of tweak the sweetness to your preference. So you might be somebody that doesn't like super sweet seltzers, then you would just use less of those sweetener packs and you get like the perfect seltzer every time. As far as flavor goes, this is the yellow peach, and it really reminds me of those peach ring candies. I don't know if you remember those, but those were like one of my favorite candies. So not a super natural flavor, but it's not overly artificial. It has a good, just like peachy flavor like that you would recognize immediately upon taking a sip. But I'm excited to try some of their other flavors. I know they got mango and pineapple, which I have, so I'm gonna try those next. And the pub squash, which is an Australian version of a hard lemonade, kind of like Mike's hard lemonade here in the States. Super good, but they have a ton of other ones that I wanna try. This turned out so good and it's just so crushable. And this is absolutely the way I'm gonna be making my seltzers moving forward. So if you made it this far to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching all the way. I really appreciate every one of you. I recently just passed 100,000 subscribers, which has been an insane goal of mine, but it came to be and I am waiting on the plaque. It should arrive in... Wait, 1 second. Oh yeah, there she is. Let's see if we can get it in focus. Wow, they let me have a 100,000 subscriber plaque and I can't even focus it. Oh, there we go. Cool. Yeah, here it is. Super excited to have this. I'm thinking I'm gonna put it up on the wall right back here so it can be in all the videos. But yeah, this is kind of wild holding this in my hands. And I just want to say again, thank you so much. I wouldn't have this, I wouldn't be here making this channel if it wasn't for people like you that watch all the way to the end of the video and support me through everything I do. So this one's for you, thank you. And stay tuned, I definitely have a bit of a surprise video coming that is to celebrate the 100,000, so thank you. Looking good back there. All right, cheers to you, thanks for watching. And if you found this video interesting at all, I got another one right here that I think you might like. Check it out. Cheers.